Hey, Roger Martin here from Billings, Montana. Some of these massive, perfectly cut stones, you got to wonder how this is done. A lot of the answers for this is not very convincing. But if you had alien technology and if you could move it with anti-gravity and with laser or sound or other things and cut things perfectly and engineer it perfectly, it would make more sense.
I'm holding it right flat against the stone surface, and there's no variation. There's no wobble. That has to be within a few thousandths of an inch of being perfectly flat.
A few thousandths of an inch of being perfectly flat, and these are massive stones. Look at those holes, how evenly and perfectly spaced they're cut. And we're going to go to another one and take a look at that and ask the same question. How could they do this?
And hopefully an answer can be made. Throughout Peru and these Inca ruins, been looking at these stonemasons that made this stuff. How does a pre-industrial society with no metal tools carve blocks like this? Blocks like this that continue to stand after earthquakes and centuries. All different shapes and sizes, perfectly cut. You cannot fit a knife between these. How? How is this done?
Evidently they had technology, or someone had technology or skills far above what the current people do. Could be alien technology, could be other technology. But someone had the skills to do this. It didn't happen by accident. And they're showing us by these ruins that this technology, this skill level is far above what we're currently doing today. They withstand earthquakes and other things, stand for hundreds if not thousands of years, perfectly cut, perfectly smooth. Now what does this have to do with Linda, with the molten Howl? A lot. Let me explain. This picture here was done through alien technology and is connected to some of the things that she's working with, holographic imagery and making stuff disappear and so forth. You'll see the connection here in a moment.
Same type of circles and spiraling lines that appeared in a barley formation at Windmill Hill near Avebury, Truslow, England on May 25, 2009. And then there is this extraordinary 300-foot diameter pattern discovered in a barley field at Barbury Castle in Wiltshire on June 1st, 2008. There had been rain the day before and all night long. The ground was so muddy that the waders of a friend of mine that went up to his knees said that he was totally covered with mud on his jeans, his boots, his shirt, trying to get to this crop formation. And yet when he got to the edge, quote, "Linda, it was perfectly clean, no mud. No one had walked on that fragile young barley."
So no one had walked on that. It was made from space or something, but it wasn't made from human beings on foot or on ground. This was some aerial job. They never touched the surface of the wheat physically or mechanically with boots or legs. But it's even more interesting when you get into the pie and the research with this and with her spy objects. Let me go back here and reintroduce you to some of these objects she's talking about. When she gets into these hidden graphic spy instruments that are alien and gets into individuals that talk about what they are and how it's connected with research that we're doing and how this has been going on for about 20 years, since the 60s and 80s and beyond, and we're trying to tap into this technology and we're just beginning to discover what's going on, how the military is using this, trying to tap into this, trying to use it. We really are behind the alien technology on this. I'll give you a link to her site. There's some very interesting letters back to this picture, especially this one here that follows it. Very interesting as it's connected with those alien spying technology.
And then there is this extraordinary 300-foot diameter pattern discovered in a barley field at Barbary Castle in Wiltshire on June 1st, 2008. There had been rain the day before and all night long. The ground was so muddy that the waders of a friend of mine that went up to his knees said that he was totally covered with mud on his jeans, his boots, his shirt, trying to get to this crop formation. And yet when he got to the edge, quote, "Linda, it was perfectly clean, no mud. No one had walked on that fragile young barley." Retired astrophysicist Mike Reed from the University of Arizona was studying this crop formation in an aerial photograph that I had put at Earthfiles, my news website, when he realized with shock that he was looking at a mathematical graphic for pi out to 9 decimal places. This number is embedded in this circle.
Now this is where this number pi and this a physical graphical for this number is connected with these alien spying machines that are invisible to the eye until we hit them with the frequency and make them visible.
Pi is a Greek symbol for the ratio of any circle's circumference to its diameter in Euclidean geometry.
Anyhow, the number never repeats, but this is where it gets interesting.
Circle that define pi. Here's 1, 90-degree angle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 90-degree angle, 1, 90-degree angle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 90-degree angle, and you can keep going around and you will have pi out 9 decimal places. And Mike Reed told me that in all of his years of working with making telescopes and working with pi, which may be why he recognized this, it had never occurred to him that you could take a horizontal plane, in this case barley, make arcs, use 90-degree angles to define a number in this way. It was a revelation to him. But where have we seen this today?
Now, these symbols were on these alien spying machines. See the 90 degrees here and the circle, 9 degrees in circle? This is all imprinted on this to make this software and this stuff to work perfectly. So you're getting the physical dimension in with these spying apparatuses and software and the intelligence with it to make it work flawlessly in an invisible world.
We've seen the same exact ratcheted arcs. Ratcheted arcs. The software in the Palo Alto Carrot Laboratory, extraterrestrial research, is like what is happening in this barley field. And that was the kind of breakthrough for me and for others contemplating the idea that this could be self-activating software being put into the skin of this earth over how many decades without any of us catching on.
Self-activating software put into the surface of the dirt, and then when they command it or use it, boom, it's done. And they don't have to be on the ground. It's done, and they can make these beautiful designs in these fields without having to touch anything. They just electronically activate it, and they can create any design they want in these fields. And they don't have to lift a finger because it's self-actuating software. It's already been used in these fields. And that's why it keeps appearing in selected areas in England and other places.
And none of us knowing what crop circles have been doing. Isaac wrote, the ET technology is different. It really did operate like a magical piece of paper sitting on a table, and he meant that could take off and go to see somebody, get information, act just like a craft in the sky, as long as it had these symbols, the self-activating software built into the paper. They had something akin to a language that could quite literally execute itself, at least in the presence of a very specific type of field. The language is a system of symbols along with geometric forms and patterns that fit together to form diagrams that are themselves functional. Once they are drawn on a suitable surface made of a suitable material and in the presence of a certain type of field, they immediately begin performing the desired tasks. It really did seem like magic to us. I worked with these symbols more than anything during my time at the Palo Alto Carrot Lab and recognized them the moment I saw them in the Dragonfly drone photos. Word was that the extraterrestrials could design these diagrams as quickly and easily as a human programmer could write a Fortran program. It is humbling to think that even a network of supercomputers was not able to duplicate what ETs could do in their own heads.
Quote unquote. We're going to leave it there. Fascinating stuff, way out of our league. The government has spent 2, 3, 4 decades on this, just barely starting to break and understand this stuff after 4 decades. Little bit of catch-up to work left here to even begin to understand the ETs and their technology, to say the least. Again, this is Roger Martin from Links, Montana. Enjoy. I'll give you a link to her full video. It's about an hour and 20 minutes long. Good day.